So what's the Grape Explorer talking about today? So we are back to talking about a grape that, again, I always talk about indigenous grapes. And indigenous means these grapes never leave where they're from. Very hard to travel and take it, and the environment's very important. We always talk about this, but I have a quiz for all the Grape Explorer people out there. Let me ask you a question. Tell me a grape right now that begins with the letter Z. Okay. Any guesses out there? Are there any guesses? I'm waiting. No, I guess not. But we've got one right here today, and we're going to talk about this because this is a grape spotlight on Zilavka. And we're going to talk about this grape because guess what? This is from a very interesting area. We're going to point it out on Hugh Johnson's map right there. This is from the area of Bosnia, Herzegovina. And look at this. It's near Croatia. And we want to go all the way down. You're passing Sarajevo right here. And guess what? We're closing into the coastline here, which is very, very fascinating area. Not too far across from Italy. But a lot of people don't know these areas, the Adriatic and we're talking about, the Balkans. This is an area, and you got to pay attention because what I'm doing is I'm doing my research and I'm trying to find different areas that I think are really cool. So this is a Mediterranean climate that attracts viniculture in Croatia's coastal region. So that's why we want to spend time here because I've had some Croatian wines. But what I never did was have a wine from Bosnia here, this area, which is fascinating. It's all different cultural. Sarajevo, it's all part of the ex-Yugoslavian kind of like peninsula there. So, but, the most important thing is that, okay, what do we look for when we look for in wines? Remember now, if you've been following everything that I've told you, I tell you, look for wines that are created near the coastline. And why? Because you're going to get a lot of salinity. You're going to get wines that have this minerality expression because there's a lot of mountainous areas close by to the sea. And, any grapes that are growing here are going to benefit from this, what we call microclimate or this micro pocket that creates warm air, cool air from the oceans. So you have this salinity in the air, briny air. If we all know, if you live near the ocean, you can smell it. When you come home at night, you can smell the sea. It's the same exact way when you're growing grapes. The grapes flourish and they love that kind of briny kind of quality to the air. So that's one thing that intrigued me, not only about, wines that are created in this area, but it's like, okay, listen, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to say, where do we make great wines? That's the most important thing. And the most important thing is that you look at the location. And this is one of the top locations when we're talking about Grape Spotlight. This is the ancient region, which was part of the Balkan Peninsula, located on the east coast of the Adriatic Sea, including Dalmatia and what is now Montenegro and northern Albania. These people who lived there were called Illyrian, and they spoke a language, and it's a dialect that goes back to 2500 BC and all along Indo-Europeans. And this area, which is considered Bosnia, is a very important area. I feel so bad for these people because if anybody followed, there was a war here, and it was really bad. It was tragic, and it was almost to a point where people were trying to wipe out the history of cultures and everything like that. But they fought back, and they still created to this day, and they said, we are still going to be remaining strong in our area. And guess what? Wine is very much part of that culture. So let's smell this wine. Boy, you get a lot of that. This smells like Bordeaux. Oh my goodness gracious. I've stuck my nose into Bordeaux, white Bordeaux, and I get that same kind of quality to it. I don't want to say that this is akin to a Bordeaux, but I'll tell you what, I've had some Paysac Lignon and some Grape, and guess what? That's the reason, because they're close to the ocean. But boy, that's a beautiful nose to it. But look at this grape varietal. Nobody ever sees this. And again, I wanted to have fun with you guys because it's like, okay, let's pick out a grape and let's talk about what this grape is all about. This Zilavka, and it's just a beautiful wine from a coastal region in the world, and I think that people should be paying more attention to. Let's taste it. That's a dead ringer for a white Bordeaux. And that's Sauvignon and Semillon, is those kind of grapes. But this is not like Chardonnay. It's not like Pinot Grigio, obviously. It's not like any grape that I've ever had, but that's the closest thing to a Sauvignon Blanc from Eastern Europe that I've ever had in my life. So this is a beautiful bottle of wine. This is under $20 a bottle. This would go beautiful with seafood, with fish. I would even say go out and have this with oysters, because this is probably, because of the salinity of this wine, this will go great with oysters. Oh my God. You think about it. You're going to have a wine from Bosnia that will go with oysters. Hey, I'm here. Let's do it. Let's have some fun. Let's make wine fun again. Again, the Grape Explorer, we're always talking about great wines, and we brought one to the plate here today from Bosnia, Herzegovina. Cheers.